What is going on, y'all? We're live on YouTube and Facebook. We're live on Instagram and Rammer. How's everybody doing? Hopefully those windows don't jack up our light too much here.
It's fine.
But we're going to start off the discussion with a little talk on mindset, specifically as it relates to fitness goals, nutrition goals, etc., etc. So we've talked about mindset quite a bit, but we keep getting that question. What's up, Keto Greg? We keep getting that question jumping on here on the lives. Do you want to start off, babe?
Go ahead.
Well, I guys always got to start. All right, so if y'all have listened to my podcast at all, you know I'm a huge proponent of having the right mindset, having a growth mindset, having a encouraging mindset as opposed to this limiting belief system, and that could not hold more true than it does with regard to your fitness and nutrition goals. If you wake up in the morning and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm worthless, I'm fat, I'm not consistent, I'm not disciplined, then guess what? You're going to be worthless, fat, not consistent, and not disciplined. If you wake up in the morning, you say, I'm a freaking savage. I'm going to go kick some butt today. I'm going to go nail my macros. I'm going to go hit my training hard. And I'm going to do it day after day after day. Then guess what? You're going to be a freaking savage. I think the hardest thing with anything in life, whether it's nutrition or fitness or training or business or relationships, is putting in the work, showing up every single day without fail, and in spite of your excuses. Because we all have excuses. We all have hard things happen in life. We all have things that are less than optimal and subpar. You know, Crystal and I could rattle off a list of things that are suboptimal in our life, but we don't ever let that discourage us from getting our workout in and eating the right foods. Because if you look at all the things that happen throughout the day and you look at days that are just not going your way, if you've at least got your nutrition and your training dialed in, even if it's not a perfect workout or not perfect day of macros, but pretty dang close, then guess what? You've got a solid foothold from which to crawl out of the hell that you've dug for yourself. And that solid foothold is what you need to build momentum and keep that momentum going. You want to add anything to that?
I will just say that Robert and I have been given a hard time about mindset stuff because people see us and they're like, oh, you guys are just like so positive, you're so this, you're so that, and all but we have down literally Robert just came home and was just like, woo, it's been a rough day. It was like a good day for him, but he's just got so much stuff going on. And I'm like, just talk to me about it. Let me tell me how you're feeling. Like, just get it out. And we don't say to be positive or to have a good outlook on things or whatever because we're perfect. We say it because
far from it, actually.
We have gone through so much, are going through so much, and will go through so much. But we both really found our ways of pushing ourselves mentally in order to get the things that we wanted to get to the places that we want to get, to have the type of mindset that we want to have. And the more consistently you do those things, the easier and easier it becomes. I was just talking to a friend today also. We were talking about how it might take you a long time to come to the conclusion of something or to understand something, but after years and years of trying to fix that situation or find a solution to it, you will eventually find it. But giving up on it or just being frustrated or living in that little bit of hell, whatever that situation is, it's not going to get you anywhere by just sulking in it. But if you're constantly trying to figure it out or fix it, then you're going to get somewhere. It might take you some time, but you're going to get somewhere. So we're not saying these things because we got it figured out. We're saying it because we don't have it figured out. And this is just our way of doing it ourselves, but also hoping to help other people along the journey of life, because it's not always the easiest.
Think about it like this. Imagine your perfect life. Imagine your perfect scenario where you wake up, you do whatever you want to do, you go to sleep, and the day is perfect. All right. Imagine the type of actions and habits you would have in that ideal life. And then reverse engineer from there and do those things now. Because if you're not doing those things now, you have no chance of building that ideal life. All right, let's dive into some of these questions. Joe Davis, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well, man. Actually, just wore your shirt 2 days ago. Hope you're rocking and rolling.
Monroe, Connecticut.
Monroe.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? Sunny Farm, what's up in the building?
Just a lot of people hopping on.
Jumping on.
That was it.
We need some questions, Joe.
What
We just got done rambling.
Specifically surrounding your workouts. So a lot of people have a hard time. A lot of people have a hard time having a good mindset around your workouts, or having the right mindset around your workout. And it's going to be different for everyone. But I think, let's see, where should I start? I think that a lot of people feel like working out is a challenge, or something you should do instead of something that you get to do, something that you have to push yourself through rather than something that you get to celebrate your body, things like that. So I'm just going to go down that little rabbit hole real quick. I would say when I first started working out, it was a bit of a challenge. It was not something I specifically wanted to do. I started doing it because my doctors told me to do it. And then I started to love it. And after I started to love it, I started doing different things, and I started working out with different people, and I started going at different times and getting more confident and comfortable with it. But it took the discipline of going time and time again to build the mindset of like, this is not torture. This is not something I have to do. It's something that I get to do. My body is well enough to move it, so why not move it? And then also finding the cap to that, like what is too much. And sometimes I have a hard time doing that. Sometimes I just posted about it the other day. Being real big pregnant, I'm just trying to decide like, what is too much? What isn't enough? Where is that boundary? So I would like to say that there's yourself, but also remember that you get to move. Like you get to move your body in whatever way, shape, or form that you want to, or in whatever way you can. Even if you're a paraplegic, there's still a ton of things that you can do that other people are not capable of doing. So use the gifts that you have in your body, and Jack's dying over there, and be grateful for that, and then move your body. If it is a struggle for you, remember that it's a blessing and not a curse to have to work out.
And if I was to, replicate that very sentiment from Crystal, I would sum it up and say, quit being a little punk, get after it. Basically what it sums up to. What's up, Mom and Dad? Says Mike Rayburn. What's going on, man? Hi, nice to see you too. Nice seeing you.
How are the dad jokes coming along?
I don't have any dad jokes cooking yet. I love my workout time, but hate feeling like I can't go as hard as I want to. There's things that like sometimes it just takes a long time to acclimate to things. Like I know your story specifically. I know you just started doing resistance training. So like you might walk up to the gym, see somebody doing 315 for reps on bench press, and you're doing 25-pound plates on each side. It may seem like it's going to be the longest road to get up to a 45-pound plate. But guess what? That compounding one day after another over years is what makes the magic happen. No shortcut, no secret sauce. There is secret sauce, but I don't know how to use it yet. Don't try and short circuit the thing. I mean, I've been bodybuilding for 14 years now, which is crazy. But it seems like just yesterday I picked up the dumbbell for the first time. Like it flies by once you get the habits in place.
Yeah, and even with me, like when I started with like no weights. I had no muscle. I had never really resistance trained. Like the thing I did before that was sports in high school. So it was like I had zero muscle. So I had to build it all. And it's a little humbling in the beginning. It for sure is. And then you build and build and build and you just get better and better. When you start tracking resistance training progress versus just focusing on an appearance change, it can really help. You can then look back and know that you're stronger and have better cardio, etc. Totally agree with that. When I very first started, I was working with a coach and I was like, yeah, I'll do a competition, whatever. But really, it was just to get movement, just to get active. And I felt like signing up for a competition was the best way of doing things. And really, my coach should have said, Crystal, you've never lifted a day in your life. There's no way you're going to compete. That would have been the smart thing, but they want money. So, of course, they're going to be like, yeah, we'll put you on stage. That was just awful. But I totally agree with you. When it starts to be focusing on like the strength, what your body can accomplish, rather than just what you look like, when you focus on what you look like, it's like you're never going to be fulfilled. Once you hit one goal, you want another.
Especially when you're in like a reverse diet or building phase and you're not changing body fat that drastically and it takes a long time to build muscle, tracking your lifts and seeing the progressive overload there is key.
Oh, Sunny said, I just remembered why I brought up Blossom's podcast earlier. The guest was talking about how your brain doesn't know the difference between real life and past thoughts, etc. Interesting.
Makes sense.
Does it?
You can talk yourself into doing things by just putting them in your mind.
Oh, yeah. I do agree with that. That's true.
That kind of is a good segue to Nikki's question over here. What do you think about placebo? Like, I will get fat if I do blank. And so do you only, and so you do only because you jinxed yourself, like the cancer patient who heals. So, I mean, I definitely think the power of thought is key. When it comes to like actually getting physically fat, like if I was to say, I think I'm going to get fat because I eat, I don't know, what's a good example? Because I eat too much bone broth. There's some bone broth sitting on the counter, so I thought about that. If I was to think to myself, I'm going to get fat because I eat too much bone broth. If I'm in fact eating too much bone broth and just sucking down a ton of bone broth and my calories are too high, my fat heart and bone. But if my calories are accounted for and I'm tracking everything, I don't think I'm going to miraculously get fat because I think bone broth makes me fat. So I do think there's a lot of placebos, especially when it comes to like positive performance benefits. I see that more so in the actual physical realm of more so than the physical realm of actually putting on body fat. But like imagine supplements. A lot of people take supplements and then they go and they have an amazing workout and they're like, I just killed it. This supplement's the bomb. In reality, it's probably more so the placebo effect of that supplement and them thinking it was miraculously making them perform better,
even
have
like
more strength,
pre-workouts and things like that. Like some of those could definitely be a placebo. But I do think that if you are constantly telling yourself, like, I'm going to get fat because I'm lazy, I'm going to get fat because I this, that, or the other, you probably will because you're probably putting those thoughts into action. So you probably are a little bit more lazy. You probably are eating a little bit more junk. So it's not specifically the thought of doing it. It's you're telling yourself all of these negative things and you're putting those thoughts into action. But if you're maybe having some doubts in your mind and that's something that you're fighting, I don't think you're just going to get fat if you're constantly trying to be better every day.
Yeah. Too many keto bricks. Just kidding. Yeah, when I eat keto bricks, my placebo is these are going to make me strong, healthy, and wise.
I'm going to be swole. How do you guys help clients move away from instant gratification mindset? That is the hardest part of it. Yeah. I think that's the hardest part of coaching because you cannot convince someone that things are going to happen over time.
It's kind of crazy.
It's
Like
so hard.
I've worked with so many people that I've gotten a really good understanding of how people think, how different kinds of people think differently. And generally speaking, I can tell within the first week of working with a client if the next 6 months are going to be a total joy or a total nightmare. And more often than not, the nightmarish ones are the ones that don't trust me, are constantly worried about little fluctuations in weight, and they assume something's drastically going wrong, or they second guess themselves, they second guess me, or they're like wanting to look night and day miraculously different in like a week's time. And I can pretty much know if that's going to be the type of person after just working with them for a week. If that's how they function, then it's like a really, strict come to Jesus meeting where it's like, look, you are not going to look better in a week. It's just not going to happen. You can trust me and trust that if you fully invest yourself into what we're doing for the next several months, it will be worth your while. Or if that's not what you want to do, then let me just refund you and you go your separate way.
Yeah, also, it's hard because even in like 2018, when I did my competition prep, I did not lose 1 pound for the first 9 weeks. Not 1 pound. I won my show, but for the first 9 weeks, so that's 3 months or 2.5 months, or however you want to do the math, I did not lose any weight. Now, you have a client that's paying you, and they're like, why am I not seeing any change? The change is happening within your body. It just takes time, especially since I like to start my clients off with a higher calorie. Robert likes to start his clients off with a higher calorie. When you're starting off with a higher calorie, it takes a little bit of time and consistency to get to a point where your body is starting to respond. Mine took me 9 weeks. 9 weeks of consistency, of tracking every single little gram that went into my body, tracking my water, tracking my electrolytes, tracking everything. And it still took me 9 weeks. It's hard to explain to people that change is still happening in those weeks. But it's just, I think, trying to relate to them, like that story, like my story. It took me 9 weeks to even see 1 ounce get lost. And it's frustrating. But being able to see the long-term goal and know that every other time you tried to do something with a quick response, with a quick goal in mind, did you get to your goal? Probably not. That's probably why you're working with me, right? So let's play the long game. Let's try and do this the right way. And let's hope that we can get to your goals by pushing through and making sure that you're committed to what those end goals are.
We're training chest or back tomorrow. Do you keep your workouts? Open up. Do you keep your workouts to a set amount of time each day to keep a certain mindset? Not really a set time. Our workouts will wind up being about an hour to an hour and a half, pretty much every day. That's pretty consistent for us, but it kind of just depends on the day, honestly. But that's pretty typical for us.
A lot of people will overdo their workouts. We were just talking about this the other day. A lot of people will be like, yeah, I was in the gym for like 2.5 hours. And it's like,
if you were doing that, you were talking too much.
What were you doing? Because if you're doing that every single day, you're going to be exhausted to the point where you can't go to the gym the next day. So what are we doing? Are we taking too much rest in between? And maybe people are losing some motivation in that rest period. Go do a superset. Try something new if that's what you're having a hard time with the mindset of getting through a workout. Try to change things up. There's nothing wrong with that.
Compounding. Love the math. Yeah, buddy. Today was 10-pound dumbbells, 20 pounds on the bar. You'll get there, man. One day at a time. What's up, Switch Grocery? I recommend purple yam and whole leaf stevia cold brew overnight. I can fast 5 days without hunger with salt and whole leaf stevia tea coffee all day.
Oh, no.
What's the goal there?
I don't know. I don't need coffee in my life.
I like coffee. How transition on keto low carb from high carb affects strength in the gym? So your strength will likely dip initially because you're totally changing your body's primary fuel source from carbs and glucose to fat and ketones. When you totally shift your body's fuel source, you have to build up all that metabolic conditioning machinery. You have to build up all the monocarboxylic transporters to shuttle your lactate and pyruvate more efficiently and your beta hydroxybutyrate more efficiently. And all that takes more than just a day or two. So I would say that you would start to feel pretty much on par with where you were after about 2 to 3 months of ketogenic dieting consistently, not deviating. And then after about 6 months or so, you should be to a point where you're able to excel from what you were doing previously. I think it's probably a pretty fair estimate for most people.
They also said read Dr. Gundry's last book also for good tips.
Actually,
I'm not
just
sure
had him
what
on
the
the
tips
podcast.
are for though. Like if you're trying to fast for 5 days, what are the tips for?
I don't know. I don't really ever fast that long. I had before, but I don't really do it on a regular basis.
Switch Groceries says everyone is loving the keto breaks in Canada. Woohoo!
Yeah, buddy.
Wish you a good, solid final part of pregnancy. Thank you so much. How are you guys doing? We're doing good. We just said the same thing. Do not buy powder anything, not powder stevia either. Please share. Is this a real person?
I don't know.
There's a lot of comments about that. Wait, okay. I just don't understand.
Yeah, are you a real person, Silicon Valley Tiger? I get you must be trying to sell some stevia or something.
Don't buy powder. Oh my goodness, there's so many. It's like addicting.
Pre-workout is part of my habit stacking, so valid or not, it leads to workout. Yeah, and with that, habit stacking, it sounds like you might have read what's the book? Oh, Atomic Habits. Yeah. Great book, by the way. So yeah, for that reason alone, I think the pre-workout's worth its weight in gold. We got one here from Harry. I am a cancer survivor, lymphoma, and had a heart attack several years ago at 58 years old. I wake at 3 o'clock in the morning to do fasted weight training before working 10 hours every day. I do a carnivore diet and break my fast at lunch. My thought, excuses don't produce results. Some days will be better than others, but the benefits come from staying disciplined. Amen. 100%. No questions asked. Totally in agreement with you, brother. Congrats on beating cancer and the heart attack and just kicking butt in life. So keep doing what you're doing. It's obviously working.
Yep. They asked, how do you work with clients? Would you mind sharing more? Excuse me.
So Crystal and I both work with clients one-on-one. Typically, we use different softwares. I use Slack for communicating with my software or with my clients. She uses one called Practice Better. Both of us do daily messaging with our clients. We both adjust macros on a weekly basis, depending on the goals. So yeah, we basically just, depending on the goals, whether it's a building, reverse down, in general, getting keto adapted. I mean, all of us, we're both working with ketogenic clients. Like we're not working with mixed diet clientele, but yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Dried mulberries. Are you still a real person, Silicon Valley?
We can't figure it out.
Selling stevia appears to be the goal. We're confused. Sunny says pregnant people are not allowed to knock coffee.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm done with caffeine. That is for sure. Like I've decided, like I just don't need caffeine unless I really want to enjoy like Earl Grey tea or something like that randomly someday down the road. But I definitely know that I did not enjoy coffee my first trimester, and I have not been really enjoying it very much in my third trimester. My second trimester, I was drinking it pretty regularly, decaf.
I've been drinking it in your stead.
What?
I said I've been drinking it in your stead.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens after I have him, because I just am not the coffee person I used to be.
Salt low will help your strength come back too. Yeah, 100%. A lot of people make the mistake of not taking in enough electrolytes when they first switch to keto, and that is no bueno. You're going to have a significantly better pump, better blood flow, better muscle contractions, better recovery, better everything if you're taking in ample sodium, potassium, and staying hydrated.
My plants are still alive.
Those are brand new plants.
They know. They know because I just did a story on them the other day.
Yeah, they're live.
They're alive. They made it through week 1.
Week 1. How do you normally increase your weight while training? Or how often you normally increase your weight? It totally depends on the movement. So like for bigger muscle groups like back, when I'm doing deadlifts and squats for legs, I'm able to increase that pretty consistently. Like I'm to a point now where I'm starting to like really hit a threshold for me. So I'm only increasing by like 5 pounds, or sometimes I'm holding the weight constant, but increasing a rep, which is still progressive overload. But with some movements that are much smaller, like bicep curls, I mean, I've been doing, like hammer curls. I went to like 60 pounds today in hammer curls. But like if I'm doing a really slow, concentrated, alternating dumbbell curl, I'm using like 20, 25 pounds, which is the same weight that I've been using for like 5-6 years on bicep curls. Like some things you're not going to be able to scale the weight as quickly with, and that's okay because there's other ways to implement progressive overload. Better form, better technique, more time under tension, more frequency, more volume, more weight, lots of variables at play.
Mm-hmm. Sunny said, we'll see about the caffeine. Well, I've been wanting to cut it out for several years now, so I feel like I'm pretty solid on that. I feel like I am.
They look great. The plants look great.
I think the plants do.
Keto bricks to me look great. Keto bricks make me nauseous sometimes. Fat digestion problems. Any ideas? I have a lot of them. Probably don't want to eat more than one a day. I don't know how many you're eating. Or you have a lot of them, as in you have a lot of them on hand. So you may have, like, I don't know if you've just started doing keto or maybe you've been doing keto for a while or whatnot, but a lot of people find benefit in temporarily supplementing with ox bile salts and what else? Some betaine, however you want to pronounce it, hydrochloric acid tablets prior to consumption of a high-fat meal, which is basically going to increase the acidity in your stomach, which is going to help break down and assimilate some of those nutrients. And the bile salts obviously do as well. So you might try and bump that up supplementally until your body is able to upregulate its own natural production.
Also, it is a lot of fat at one time, so some people can't handle that. I can eat like a whole brick and be totally solid, but if that's an issue for you, maybe just try it with a quarter and see how it feels. And if you do well with a quarter, then increase to a half, and maybe it's just the amount that you're having in total all at one time.
I think this person wins the award for the most unique name. Bipolar mom and former adult probation officer is the name. Congratulations. I hear there's a little savage on the way. Yes, indeed. We're stoked. Little Rigel will be here in just about a month now, which is kind of crazy.
Yep. I couldn't drink coffee during pregnancy, but enjoy it again now, but do half decaf always. Yeah, see, it's the decaf part that I think I'll always stick with. Because even in my really, I just drink it because I like the taste of it. Usually, I like the taste of it. But caffeine is, I don't want to have something. And I really like that about not having caffeine. It's like at one point, I felt so dependent on it. I was drinking several coffees a day. I was drinking energy drinks, and I like constantly felt tired. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And I was having like a pre-workout and stuff too. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And I feel like all of my energy is coming naturally. And if I need more energy, it's probably because I'm not getting something.
Probably.
Sleep or food or something like that.
Nikki asked a good question here. Tips for lifting weights for arms and making sure you're using the appropriate muscles. I do arm, shoulder work, presses, curls, kickbacks, etc. But I feel I'm building and feel growth in my chest, upper torso, ribs. Okay. So I'm going to hide your question here so that I can have more picture to show you. If you're working your arms, your biceps, your triceps, basically try and keep your shoulder stationary. Like there should not be a lot of shoulder rotation or flexion or anything going on if you're trying to isolate the biceps and triceps. You're going to have all of the movements pretty much come, like even your upper arm is going to be pretty well fixed. The lower arm is going to be moving. Upper arm is pretty well fixed. So depending on where you can do like an overhead tricep extension, this part of my arm is pretty much staying constant. The forearm section is what is moving. That's working the tricep. You don't want to have a whole bunch of clay in your shoulder because that's going to be engaging your shoulder and your chest and your traps and all that stuff. So whenever you're working biceps, triceps, try and keep, depending on which exercise you're doing, Try and keep your shoulder pretty well fixed and your upper arm pretty well stationary, and have all the movement come from your lower arm, and that's going to engage the biceps and triceps.
Yeah, for example, like if you're doing a bicep curl, rather than just doing a regular bicep curl, try to do maybe like a concentrated curl, and that will allow you, unless you're Sunny. I hope Sunny's still on here, because that would be a funny joke for her.
Why should I do that?
It was just a funny. But if you're doing a concentrated curl, that's going to put a lot more concentration in your bicep than it is in the rest of, whatever you could be using to be maybe possibly swinging the weight or using your shoulder or whatever. And like Robert said, just keeping that shoulder and elbow in a direct place, and then doing the movement slow, controlled. Make sure you're using light enough weights and you're not using those extra muscles because you're trying to lift more.
Truckology 101. What's up, brother? Hope you're well too. Will more electrolytes help with cardio recovery? My lungs feel exhausted too. So you may just be cardiovascularly out of shape. But yes, electrolytes are going to help. It's probably not going to be as pronounced, but it will definitely help. I mean, everything in the body is electric. The synapses in your brain, the fibrils, the fibrils in your muscle tissue, the fascia tissue connecting all your muscles together, like everything is run by electrical synapses, and having the proper sodium to potassium ratio and enough hydration so that conductivity throughout your body is going to be better. It's going to be key for everything.
And then you asked if electrolytes will help with cardio recovery.
That's what I just did.
I know. I'm just trying to think. Also, like recovery could be maybe you need to eat more, water intake. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go into recovery.
Future Proof says, wellness, maybe you're allergic to stevia. It's in the ragweed family. Maybe. Any way to get keto bricks in Australia? Yes, we ship everywhere, but the shipping to Australia is kind of crazy. Keto bricks, what are they? They are a 1,000 calorie ketogenic meal replacement shelf stable bar that we designed during my 2017 competition prep to optimize for body composition and energy on the go.
Can I do a standard ketogenic diet long term or forever?
We've been doing it for 6 and 7 years now, respectively. So we don't have any plans of deviating.
We don't. We can't say that you can do it forever. We can't say it's going to be the best thing for you, but we're going to keep going because we feel great.
I've been doing a low carb diet since January, pescatarian, less dairy and nut seeds. Feel amazing. Red meat only 1 to 2 times a week. If you feel amazing and it's rocking in for you, keep on keeping on for sure.
Yep. Did you have to do glucose while you're pregnant, or your doctor knew what was up? So we are not using a typical OBGYN. We are using a midwife.
But she knew what was up.
But she did know what was up. She did ask me if I wanted to do it. And she also offered me a organic option rather than using like all the dyes and all the junk in the drink, but I declined it. So in case you guys don't know, I feel like people are not, a lot of people don't know that you can literally deny anything. Now, if you're working with a typical OB, they can also deny you service. Yes. And my midwife could have said, well, if you're not going to do this test, then I don't want to work with you. And I would have found someone else to work with. They can deny you. However, when you go into labor and you go to the hospital, someone has to deliver your baby. They're bound by law to deliver your baby. So you may not have the checkups like a normal person, but you can deny anything that you want to. So I wrote they had me sign a sheet of paper that just said that I was denying the test, and I knew the consequences of that. But then I also did a CGM for 2 weeks and showed my midwife all my results, and she was like, fantastic, that looks great. We both were on the same page. She knows what my diet consists of, so she really wasn't worried about it. I don't know with a typical OB if they're usually going to be good with that, but there are alternatives. So don't feel like you're bound to their specific test. There are organic options. There are options where you can eat different types of foods if you want to eat something different rather than their drink. A lot of times they'll let you test your blood sugar for a couple weeks long. You do want to make sure, I mean, if you feel like you are at risk at all of having some sort of diabetes during pregnancy or anything to do with your blood sugar, you want to know. I knew because I'm pretty good at testing myself regularly, so I had no concerns. But your body can change overnight, and your body goes through so many changes with pregnancy that it can be dangerous to you and the baby if you are not aware. So I would suggest doing some sort of testing of some sort, not specifically the drink, but maybe just checking your blood sugar or having a CGM or something like that.
How's Tiger Woods going to do in the Masters tournament this weekend? Go Tiger. I have no idea.
Zero idea.
I don't know nothing about golf.
Have you had cheat meals? I just did a post on this the other day. We do not do cheat meals.
Good evening, Live Savage and chat. What's up, a brother of a certain age? Hope you're doing well. All right, Coach Bronson, what's up, man? We're just signing off. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go fire up a chainsaw and get some work done out in the yard. Maybe change the oil in Crystal's Tahoe. Maybe not. Not sure. But love your 7-set Sundays, Keto Savage. Well, thank you so very much. We'll keep them coming. But until next time, y'all. Take care. Toodaloo. Ta-ta for now. Hasta la vista, baby. Peace out. Sayonara. Did I miss anything?
Nope. Bye.
Bye.